Welcome to Heroes Rising, hosted by Sifu Rafael, a master instructor, public speaker, and the founder of Speaking Prowess. Known for his expertise in empowering individuals through the art of communication and leadership. Alongside him is co-host Jose Escobar, an acclaimed personal development speaker, 18-time published author, and founder of 2 thriving businesses, including the Connected Leaders Academy. Together, they bring you dynamic conversations with world-class entrepreneurs, industry icons, and visionaries. Heroes Rising is your go-to source for wisdom, motivation, and unstoppable growth. Join us and discover the hero within you.
Jose, how are you? Happy Friday, my friend. You look
Happy Friday.
incredible.
Don't I
You
always
look so...
just today?
No, I got to tell you, there's a little bit of a bigger glow in you, and I love it. I'm loving what I'm seeing, my friend.
Yes, as you know, since December up until Friday of last week, we've had all kinds of tragedy with health challenges in my family, and everything just happened to stop a day before our trip because I was prepared to cancel our family vacation to the Dominican Republic. And coincidentally, everybody got better and we ended up going, and I feel great. So just much needed R&R, as we said backstage earlier. And I'm just refreshed, rejuvenated, reignited, fired up, excited, enthusiastic. Can I say more?
Of course you can.
Thrilled.
We always want to hear more from you.
How about you? Tell us about you. You always look fresh. I mean, I think you're always fresh. It doesn't matter how hard you work, you're always fresh.
Here's the thing, and glory to God that He did take your family through this incredible journey of challenges. But look how beautiful, not just you. I mean, your wife is beyond gorgeous. Your kids are adorable and beautiful. And sometimes we do not recognize that God makes us swim in shark-infested waters because our enemies can't swim. And if they come, the sharks will get them, but they're not getting us. So I love that your whole family was able to go on this vacation. The reason I feel sharp and alive every day is because the first thing I do is I thank God for the glory He's given me. The chance that I woke up today, I'm alive. I am happy. That speaks volumes, my friend. But guess what? We have 2, truly phenomenal people joining us on this panel of embracing authentic identity and rewriting reality. Wow. I'm just beyond thrilled to bring them on. So let's go ahead for it. Jodi and Shiraz, welcome to Heroes Rising. You 2 are sure superheroes. I can see the capes.
Thank you. It's nice to be here today. It's an honor. So thanks for having me here.
Yes, thank you guys. It's great to be back.
Yes. So who would like to talk about our topic today? Because to me, I'll go really quick if you don't mind. I think identity, embracing your identity, what winds up happening, I think that we all pick up things throughout our lives, and then what people tell us that this is who we are, and we attach that to who we think we are. But I think of it a little bit differently, because God doesn't see the fact that you're an alcoholic or that you're a liar or this or that or whatever it is that you've done that's not positive in your life. Because I don't believe when you go up to the pearly gates that there's somebody there besides saying, oh, you go to that group over there. You go to this group. You've done this in your life. You go over there. I don't think there's a traffic cop. I think God embraces all of us. So we should identify first as human beings, as children of God. That's just my feeling, but that's where I think identity comes in. How do we fulfill the identity we were meant to be? That's all I have.
Well, I would love to pipe in there. I feel very strongly about this issue, as you know, Raphael. Um, I believe that, like you said, in today's society, unfortunately, so many people are identified by what they believe everyone else's expectations are of them. And that comes from childhood and whatever maybe expectations mom and dad set. It comes from community groups. It comes from maybe church groups. It comes from sports teams. It's anything that you're involved in. Our society, our surroundings kind of shape who we are, which can be a really good thing until we find ourselves in a place, which I think so many people do, in trying desperately to live up to all of these expectations, and in the process losing sight of who we were created to be, rather than who society or who our community or our relationships have made us to be. Because so many times those outside influences will push us in a path maybe that we don't belong in. And we need to be able to reset. We need to be able to come back and say, whoa, 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 who is it that the creator of the universe created me to be? That's my divine design, that I like to call it. So embracing that divine design can be so freeing, because we begin to let go of all of these unrealistic expectations. We begin to let go of all of the filters that we've put in place to try to be what we think we're supposed to be, or what others think we're supposed to be. And instead, we find this beautiful freedom and this confidence in, this is me. This is who I was created to be. And I no longer have to worry about putting on those filters to impress or please everyone else or meet everyone else's expectations. I've simplified it, and I've come back to my divine design. And that's who I'm meant to be. And that's what I need to focus on living out each day.
Beautifully said. Thank you for that. Thoughts, gentlemen?
Sure. So for me, there's two things that affect our identity. We have a certain identity. And then as we grow up, there's two questions we ask. How can I get people to love me? And how can I show I have value? And it's that, how can I get people to love me, that makes you think, well, I have to do this so people love me. I have to be quiet, or I have to, do all my chores before I can get love, or whatever it is that your environment tells you. And children look for what love looks like in their environment and make decisions on, this is what I have to do to get love. And the truth is, if every person around you is a source of love, then you're a source of love. So why not fill yourself up with your love for you first, so that any other love you get is just bonus, right? And this is not like from a place of arrogance and I don't need you or anything. It's really true divine love for yourself, and saying, I love every aspect of me, and I know there's good points and bad points, but I'm going to take it all. I'm going to try and be the best person I can be. And then the other part is, if you're trying to show you have value, well, you're born inherently valuable. Every person on the planet is deserving of millions of dollars, trillions of dollars, lots of love, amazing experiences. But we get taught that you have to do things in order to have value. Whereas what it truly is the things you do is how you express that value that's already there. And when you let that sink in, then you're going to be in a different place. You're going to operate differently, so that that this is just the way I express value. That's always there. And you can express value through the job you do, or through having dinner with people, or whatever it is. And the more and more you embrace that value, the more people want to come in and experience that value, because it becomes visible to everyone else around them.
Yes.
Well, I don't know if there's anything else to say after all of that.
Show's over. Goodbye.
I mean, that was good stuff. Thank you, Jodi and Shiraz. I mean, that was powerful. And Sifu, that was really good stuff. So it's been said, I'm a huge quotes guy, right? I absolutely love quotes. And they say the reward for conformity is that everybody likes you except yourself. Isn't that crazy? The reward for conformity is that everybody likes you except yourself. And so many people are conforming and changing who they really are authentically to themselves to try to be liked and loved and accepted and all the things, right? To be a part of something. Everybody wants to be a part of something. Everybody wants to be loved. We're not meant to be alone in life, right? It doesn't mean you need to have a partner, a life partner, but we're not meant to be alone. We're meant to be around people and to love and to be loved. And a lot of times it's just, we're trying to put on this facade, this layer of fakeness to conform to what we think others want from us. And that's unfortunate, because the true authentic self of who you are, your real identity, is good enough. I always tell my son, listen, all I'm asking for you is for you to give your best, and your best is good enough. Right. And because it's the whole Kaizen philosophy, 1% better every day. So your best is good enough for today. Does it mean it's good enough forever? No, because we're in constant improvement and we have to constantly seek to be better. But for today, if that was your best, then that's good enough. And that's all I ask. And being good enough is one thing, and being real and authentic and true to your identity is also one thing. And I think those things are very, very important.
Oh, I love that. Giving it your all, I think, is also part of being your best, right? As long as you try your hardest, you can't. One of the things that I had a conversation with somebody, and if you remember, there was a movie where they were cloning everybody, so everybody would kind of look the same, speak the same, be the same. It doesn't really fall into I can't be like Shiraz. I'm not that good looking. I can't be like Jodi. I don't know all she knows. I can't be like you, Jose. But I am me, right? And the way I become me is by taking the actions that I take every day. Even the way I wake up in the morning, why I wake up in the morning, what I do and how I do the things I do during my day, the way I speak to another person. That's how I become who I am. Who you see before you is because of the actions I've taken over and over and over and over again. So I become the only one. There's only one of me. Thank God for that. Right? It'd be a crazy world if there was a bunch of me's, right? And everybody always wants to clone themselves because they feel they don't get enough done in the day. No, you don't need to clone yourself. You just need to get the right people and give them the space to shine, to help you in your day.
Yeah, the world would be a boring place if we all were the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we all had an opinion, which in some cases is good, in some cases not so good, but we all have an opinion on everything, and we don't have to agree on everything, right? Me personally, I believe in erring on the side of reasonableness. Okay, I'm not extreme on any level, right? And just about anything. I'm not extreme in anything, but I do understand there's something called just being reasonable, right? And I think we can sit down and we can completely disagree with each other and walk away still with respect, courtesy, kindness, love, right? If you and I disagree, Sifu Rafael, politically, not that we've ever talked about it, but if we did disagree politically, I should still respect you and you should still respect me. And we can be able to be truly who we are and how we view life, because how we view life is how we were raised and the things we listen to and the people we were around. And we all have different realities, right? They say perception is reality. And a lot of that comes from how your surroundings, your environment, right? We are products of our environment to some extent, which is why it's hypercritical to make sure you protect that environment, right? You got to protect the environment in terms of physically and mentally. You have to be very careful of what you allow to kind of grow roots in between your ears, because if it's not the right stuff, then it creates this stronghold that is really hard to shake off. it's really hard to shake off, and that's kind of, I don't know, it is what it is. But I say all that to say that I think what makes life interesting is that we can see things differently, and I think that's okay, and I think that's healthy.
You know, one of the things that is so inspirational is think about a caveman who lives in a cave and doesn't go out except to get some food and comes back to the cave, doesn't meet people, and he or she is just alone by themselves. They don't get to learn much. They don't get to associate with other people. They don't know how to communicate properly. But the more we step out of our comfort zone, our home, right? Because your home should be your safe haven, like your cave, if you will. But the more we step outside and we engage with other people, we understand what they may be talking about because we're going to ask questions to clarify what they may be talking about. To be able to talk to different people from different cultures, different understandings, different political views, it allows us to enrich our lives. So the more we connect with one another, the deeper our relationship is with ourselves. So, and Jose, you went to Dominican Republic with your family, and you saw how other people interacted. And I know that you, like, I think all of us here are people watchers. We watch other people, we see how they interact, and that kind of lets us know if it's the right way or the wrong way, and how are we going to interact with them.
And I think we have to be careful because there's a comparison game there. A lot of times we're looking to other people, we're looking to see how other people are doing things and how maybe progressed or successful other people are in certain areas. And then we look at ourselves in that light and we compare. Kind of going back to Jose, what you had said, that idea of giving your best, right? Well, this person's best may look very different than this person's best. And that's okay. Like you're saying, even having those different opinions, we're not supposed to be cookie cutters, but we have to embrace who we are. And as you had said, Sifu, this idea of, do I like how I handled that? Do I like the effort that I put into that? Am I proud of that? Then that's the ruler I'm kind of judging myself against, is what I know I'm capable of and what I want to see from myself, rather than looking at everybody else around me. You know, I homeschool three of my kiddos, three of my four kids, and uh, it's so tempting to look at my kids and then want to look at other kids and say, oh, you know, my kid is behind, or oh, my kid is ahead. And I had a teacher tell me one time, yeah, but behind who? Ahead of who? What's the point of that? Why is this other kid or this other person the measuring stick now? We should be looking at who we are, what we are capable of, and that's the measuring stick, so that we can truly challenge ourselves and say, did I do what I know is right? Did I stand up for what I wanted to stand up for? Did I do this with the level of excellence I know that I'm capable of? Rather than falling into that comparison game, because that comparison game is where we begin to set those unrealistic expectations, or when we begin to be unhappy with ourselves because now I'm measuring up against that person's success rather than what I might be capable of based on what I am created to do, my divine design.
Ooh,
I've got
I
a
love
very quick,
measuring stick. Go for it.
quickly piggyback off what you just said, because I love not I love it. Well, there's this idea, right, that we're always trying to be like someone else or trying to model after somebody else. And we're always going to be a first rate version of ourselves, right? And a first rate version of ourselves is always better than the second rate version of someone else, right? Because we're always
Absolutely.
trying to be that other person, which we will never be, but we can be the best, me, which is very important. So just be you and be real, and that's powerful. And I love that you said homeschool, because my wife also homeschools. I had to throw that out there. We have 6 kids. The oldest one is in high school. He's about to go to college, so he's we let him go down that path, and he's almost done. But our other younger ones, she homeschools two of them, and three of them, and then the other two are resident distractors. They're too young to be homeschooled, so they're just yeah. Actually, right now I can hear them screaming. I guess you can't hear them, but I can hear them while my wife is trying to teach, which is always funny. But anyway, that's that.
I love that. I also love the measuring stick. I think the best measuring stick is the one that looks back at you, right? The reflection that when you talk to yourself, because no matter where you are, no matter where you go in the world, there you are, right?
Mm.
And every morning, it's my routine to pray as soon as I wake up, go to bed. I'm a cold shower guy. I've been cold showering for many, many years. And I look at myself in the mirror. And as sometimes I'll continue praying in that time. And I'm asking God for the download for the day. How can I be the best version that you want me to be so that I can be better than I was yesterday? So I'm measuring myself against me because I want to be better than I was yesterday. What can I do? How can I speak to someone? Maybe I spoke to someone one way yesterday. How can I speak to them better? How can I communicate at a higher level? And that's why I love communication so much, because it starts with us, right? It's that conversation that I have every morning. I have that conversation almost every night. So yes, I love the measuring stick. Thank you, Jodi.
It's interesting too, because how society trains us to use the measuring stick rather than just go for self-improvement. One of the most profound experiences I had was back in high school. We had a new gym teacher, and our first gym class, he had us do all these exercises and keep track of what we could do, how many push-ups we could do, how many sit-ups, all these things. And then after that, he said, the goal of this year is not to be the best in this class. It's to see how much you improve over what we just did.
Mm.
And it was such a different frame for the gym class that year. And I was not athletic as a kid, so I was used to getting C's and D's in gym. And I got an A for the first time in gym because I improved so much, because he motivated me to improve myself. However, the jocks who were used to getting A because they were the most physically fit would get B's and C's in his class. And as a result, the school board fired him. We had to go back to the old method. And that just hit me so powerfully. It's like when someone's training you to just improve yourself, we kick them out.
That's society, right? Society doesn't always want for improvement. Society wants to keep you down sometimes.
Yeah.
But we need to be the heroes, right? That's why this show is called Heroes Rising, because we need to rise as a hero every morning and say, thank you. I'm alive. I get to decide my fate today. I create my happiness. I don't allow others to create it for me. Every day you have that choice.
Yeah. And it's nice to surround yourself with those people that are there rooting for you, cheering you on for your self-improvement, rather than comparing you to other people.
Yes. Yes.
I think it's even better when we have those people who love us enough to challenge us, to say, hey, I know you because of our relationship. I know you, and I know that you're capable of more. I know that you can do better, or I know that you probably aren't going to be happy with what you just said or did, right? So I think it's even better when we have that community where they challenge us. Scripture talks about iron sharpening iron. We should always be surrounding ourselves with people that aren't questioning our value, but are challenging us to truly live up to the value that we already have. And as you said earlier, then inspiring us to show that value in what we do and what we say. So it's so important, I think, to have those cheerleaders around us, but that will also challenge us and say, hey, I think you can do better because I know you, not because they're comparing us to anyone else, but because they know us well enough and love us to say, hey, I think you're capable of more.
It's case in point. I was having a talk with Jose earlier this month, and as a program that I launched at $5,000 for the program and realized, oh, this is actually like a $20,000 program. It's underpriced. And so I said, well, my next event, I'll raise it to 750, then to 10. And Jose's like, raise it to 20. I'm like, why? If it's worth that much, start charging that much. And like, yeah, don't go slow, don't go small. He knew what I'm capable of. So I'm like, okay, let's just do that instead.
Yeah.
It's the belief, right, that you have in yourself and that others have in you, like Jose believed in you. Go ahead, Jose.
No, I was just going to say that we have to charge what we're worth. We have to charge the value of the thing that you're providing, right? It just is what it is. Now, it's not for everyone. Now, could you offer payment plans and installment plans? Sure. But the reality is that certain things cost a certain amount because they add a certain amount of value to your life. And if certain things are life-changing, that can cost a significant amount of money. And a significant amount of money will be paid by the right person. And you can't say the wrong thing to the right person, right? If you're talking to the right person who's a qualified prospect for what you have to offer, the right person is going to say, this is a no-brainer. This is a no-brainer. Is that all? 20K? Let's do this. The wrong person, which is just your ideal client, not your ideal client, is going to say, oh my gosh, that is way too pricey. I don't think so. And you know what? That's okay. That's okay, because our products and services are not for everyone. They're designed for the ideal target audience. And that's kind of where it's at. But anyway, I was going to say that in terms of your circle, piggybacking off of what Jodi said and your environment and the people you're around, I always like to think of it as three kinds of people, right? The person who's going to make you better and inspire you and lift you up and encourage you and push you at times, right? With tough love and all the things that we look for in somebody that we know, like, and trust, that loves us and we love them. And then there's going to be that person that sometimes you're going to have to pick up and you're going to have to lift up and you're going to have to pour into and you're going to have to be there for them. And then there's a person who is indifferent, kind of like in the middle. They're just kind of there. You're not necessarily lifting them up. They're not necessarily lifting you up, and it's just kind of, or pushing you up. It's just kind of neutral, right? So, and you can also look at it as the people who add value to your life, the people who hold you down, and the people that don't make a difference either way. So you just got to kind of know who's who, and we got to protect our circle because we only have one life, right? And as I always say, they say, oh, you only live once. No, you only die once, but you live daily. So as we're living daily, we have to be fully alive, and we have to protect our time and our energy and our efforts and our wisdom and our thoughts around the right people. And I think that it's super, super important. And it's crazy because the more successful you become in life, I'm not just talking about financially, I'm talking about in life. And there are 10 life domains, the spiritual life, the family life, the your health and wellness, of course, your finances and all those things. As you look at it holistically, success is holistic. Success is not just one category of your life. So whenever I say, oh, when you hang around successful people are thinking I'm talking about money. That's just one bucket. You could be very financially well off and be failing at life. Okay, so I'm not even talking about just money. I'm talking about the holistic approach, the 10 life domains. Hang around successful people, be in that environment, and it's amazing how your life improves, right? And if you're around people who are not doing that, it's amazing how your life starts to decay over time, and there's chaos. And the reality is, the higher up the ladder you go of success in life, remember, holistically, the higher up the ladder you go, you start to outgrow certain people, and certain people are just no longer around in your life. It doesn't mean they're bad people. It just means that you're on a trajectory that requires you to constantly improve, to constantly remain uncomfortable, and you're striving for more, and you have more impact to make, more changes in the world to create. And not everyone's going to be on that journey with you, and that's okay.
I love that. That's so powerful, Jose. I you made me think of a garden, and in every garden there's going to be weeds, so we need weed killer. So that's an important aspect. Before we move on, I want to share this with you guys. Take a look.
Hi, my name is Jose Escobar, and I'm the founder and CEO of the Connected Leaders Academy. We're a growing tribe a community of entrepreneurs all over the world, globally, all across the country, high performers, titans of industry. If you're an entrepreneur and you're looking to grow personally and professionally, scale your influence, develop your skill sets, move the needle in your business, more clients, more money, more profit, the bottom line, and of course, grow your circle and your network like never before, this is where you want to be. Join the Connected Leaders Academy today. We are scaling massively. We want to welcome you in. Check me out on Instagram and on Facebook, the @ JAESCO25. We look forward to having you join us. Take care.
So I do love the concept of rewriting your life, rewriting your reality, because we can't live in a bubble. We can try. We can try saying, I have to be an influencer and I have to be on social, 24 hours a day. But that's not reality. That's not living. You said earlier, Jodi, that one of the things that you're looking forward to today is spending quality time with your family. And that is reality to me, right? That is doing all the hard work that we need to do on a regular basis in order to have the quality time. We are meant to live fruitfully. We're meant to have abundance. But a lot of people think, I'm not worthy. I got to work super hard. I need 5 jobs. I need all this. How come I don't have it like them? So we start comparing, like we talked earlier. But I think rewriting your reality is about who you're becoming. And it may take a little while to become the person that you personally are proud of. But it's okay. Do the work. Keep going. You're worth it.
I'll quickly chime into what you just said. When people look from the outside looking in on anybody's life, it's so easy to say, I wish I could have that, or that person is lucky, or for them to say some hateful things like, oh, this and this and this, or criticize or condemn. It's easy to do those things from the outside looking in, but nobody really sees the behind the scenes, right? Like the things I've achieved in business, and not that I've done anything majorly crazy, but the success that I've achieved in business, what people don't see is the 4 a.m. wake up time, Monday through Friday, right? They don't see the 4 to 7 morning routine. They don't see the going to bed early during the week, at 10:30 is what I consider early. They don't see the all the books that I read on a regular basis. They don't see the sacrifices that I make. They don't see the investments that I had to make in order to make more money, right? And they don't see all the things that I had to do, all the risks I had to take, right? All of the hard work that goes into it, right? The countless hours being behind a desk, sometimes being exhausted, feeling like I left it all on the line and in the trenches, right? They don't see the constant flow of like, okay, I am constantly on my morning routine, and then I'm working aggressively, and then I go and spend a few hours with my kids, and then I spend a few hours with my wife, and then I go back to do my evening routine. And a lot of people, if they saw what I have to do and the things that I have to go through, the discipline and the commitment and the consistency that it takes, number one, they probably wouldn't do it. And number two, if they did, they wouldn't do it for long. And number three, they would probably want their life back, right? But that's the reality. Now, some people might be able to hack it and do it better than me, and that's okay too. But what I am saying is never assume when you're looking from the outside looking in. People say, oh, Jose, he did this, but it's because he's lucky, or because he started at the right time, or he had a good idea that nobody else had, or whatever it is. No. What they don't see is all the hard work behind the scenes of years of sacrifice that it took to get to where it takes to where where I am now, where I'm going. So that's the reality. So I tell people all the time, again, be real, be authentic, and don't look at what other people have. Just look at what you have, where you are right now, and ask yourself, what can I do more of? What do I need to get rid of? And who do I need to plug into so I can move faster?
Yeah, I love that.
So I have a little bit of an advantage on this particular topic because I've literally written a book called How to Rewrite Reality. So And one thing that I've learned is that 10 people can be in the same room and have 10 different realities. And they take away 10 different lessons, 10 different experiences, and create life from that. And one of the moments is actually in the book, was when I was out at a singles event. And I was at a table, and there were 2 girls and 4 guys. And for some reason, the other 3 guys just got into a conversation on something to do with sports. I'm not a sports guy. So that left me with 2 girls. And I'm like, I'm happy to talk to 2 girls. So we started talking. And then one of the girls says, you know what's the hardest thing for women dating today, Shiraz? I said, what? She goes, there's twice as many single women as there are single men. So whenever we're trying to find a guy, we've got to compete because there's all these other women. And I looked at her, I said, what are you talking about? There's just as many single guys in the city as there are single girls. And she's like, no, because even right now, there's 2 of us and 1 of you. So if we're both interested in you, we have to compete to get you. And I said, there's 3 other guys at this table. There's actually twice as many guys here as girls. And the look in her face was like I'd just broken her brain, because from her reality, those guys stopped existing. It was just this conversation, and she couldn't see them for a while so that she could be right in her reality. And people do this all the time. You're seeing through the viewpoint of your beliefs. So opportunities that are right in front of you may not see. And in a different reality, it's just obvious. Oh, I'll just do this. So rewriting your reality comes down to understanding, number one, where you want to be right all the time. It's going to take too much work to do that. Well, you can be right about that. and when you start figuring out that I'm just trying to be right about something, what if I'm wrong? What if, oh, I didn't think I'd make an extra $1 million this year. I guess I was wrong. I didn't think I'd change 10,000 people's lives for the better. I guess I was wrong. Would being wrong be such a horrible thing? Would that be a better reality if in your moments of wrongness, you're improving people's lives?
I love the SEO concept of see every opportunity. I know people think of SEO as search engine optimization, but I like it, and I know that I did a talk on it a while ago about see every opportunity, because what happens is it's always in front of us and we're missing the opportunity because we're not open to it. Just like that young lady, if those gentlemen would have been asking her questions, then they would have been involved in her reality. Mm-hmm. But because they stopped talking to her, they were more focused on whatever team they were talking about, sport, and you showed interest, a focus turned to you. And then because, like she said, I have an opportunity if I want Shiraz, but now I got to fight this one over here. Yeah. Maybe an elbow or something, right? So we need to see, and she did stop seeing them because they no longer saw her. Mm-hmm. So that was the reality of, like, what's more important to me, the people who see me or the people who don't see me? So I'm always thinking about see every opportunity. So when I go anywhere, I'm very vigilant on looking around, seeing what's available. Sometimes I'm introduced to people tell me, hey, you need to meet this person. And I go and I meet this person, and that person looks past me. And I'm like, okay, I met them, but I wasn't the one they wanted to meet. Maybe they wanted to meet Joe or Mary. So I have to be focused on the people who see me to make my reality real. Because if I keep chasing somebody who doesn't see me, that's lost love right there. I don't want to lose love. I want to gain love. Think about that.
I've got a big... Oh, go ahead. After you, Jodi.
I was going to say, I think that you have to then take that same thought and understand how it then ends up affecting your own reality. When you're chasing that person who's not interested, right? You're really trying to step into their reality. You're trying to become a part of their reality. And that becomes the measuring stick. And so we have to be willing to stop and question. It's okay to question our own reality, to say, wait a minute. What is happening here? What do I think about this? How do I feel about this? And what do I want to do about this? And then act accordingly instead of finding ourselves just chasing after that, because then we leave the reality that says we have this inherent value and we enter a reality that says, now I'm chasing after that value. I'm trying to prove that I have value. But when we are able to come back to our reality, to say, no, 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 within my reality, I believe that I have this value, and that is not in question. Then it comes back to what Jose, you were talking about earlier, is basically those boundaries of saying, okay, that's not someone or something that's worth chasing after. And just because they weren't interested in seeing me or meeting me in that moment does not affect my value, does not affect what I think or how I feel as far as who I am. It's okay if they weren't interested in me, right? I like to tell people I'm a recovering people pleaser because for so long it's like, wait a minute, what do you mean you don't like me? What do you mean you're not interested in talking to me? I've got to figure out how to prove to you that I am worth your time. And it's such a waste of energy, because if they can't see it from the beginning, you don't need to spend your time there. And so we have to consider that within our reality and questioning it to say, wait a minute, is that worth my time? Or is it okay to let that one go and maintain that perception that I have that is truth of my value is intact no matter what they said or did. And I will choose to remain in that reality rather than chasing after someone else's.
Really strong. I wanted to, good stuff. I wanted to kind of circle back to what you were saying, Sifu, about what we see, right? What we see around us and in our environment. And I had have a mentor of mine, John Coquinos, which you know, founder or the owner of what is this called? EFC, Educational Training Company, who I used to work for him. And this was back when I was in the corporate arena. And it's a martial arts company. So I was a consultant coach in the martial arts space. And when I was working there, I remember when I got hired there, and this was many years back, the day he hired me, he called me into his office, and then we were having the normal conversation of like, he hired me already. So I was already hired, and he took me to the restroom. He's like, I want you to follow me real quick. And he took me to the restroom. I was like, why is he taking me to the restroom, right? So he took me to the restroom, and he opened the door. It was a tight restroom, mind you. So it was a tight little space, and we're both in there, standing there, and he's looking around. He's like, what do you see here? He's like, what do you see? Look around. And I'm like, okay, well, I see a toilet, I see a mirror, I see a hand wash, hand soap, and he's like, what else do you see? And there was like so that's all I saw. And I mentioned a couple other pieces, and he said, okay, well, you don't see the water all around the sink there? I'm like, oh, well, yeah, I see it now. He's like, what about that piece of paper towel that's on the floor in the corner right there? I was like, oh, yeah, I see that too. And he's like, so let me show you something. So he grabbed a paper towel, and he like dry paper towel, and did this to the sink and got it all nice and dry. And then he grabbed that, and he picked up the towel from the ground, and he threw it in the trash can. And then he looked back, and he grabbed a little thing in the toilet, and there was like this paper towel. He grabbed that and sprayed the toilet and just kind of did that because he had like the cleaning spray in the bathroom. And he's like, do you see what I did there? What I just did there is I walked in, and I left this bathroom in a better place than how I found it. And he said, whenever you go somewhere, you have to leave it better than how you found it. And then he took me back to his office, and then he took me to the next phase of that coaching session, which I didn't realize was going on. And he said, additionally, Jose, when someone comes into your life, whether it's for 5 seconds or 5 years, you have to leave them in a better place than how you found them to. And you have to go out of your way to make people better. And the way you're going to do that, Jose, And then he grabbed this coffee mug and he showed me a coffee mug. And on that coffee mug, it says, always see the good. And he said, always see the good in everything and in everyone. And if you are intentionally looking to see the good, you will find the good, and the good is enough for you to work with. And then you go from there. And I was like, that was a golden nugget. It never left me. That was many years back. And I apply that principle now. And it goes back to the golden rule, right? Treat others the way you want to be treated. The platinum rule is the next level to that, which is treat others the way they want to be treated. Because they may not want to be treated the way you want to be treated, but they want to be treated the way they want to be treated. So the platinum rule always supersedes the golden rule.
Love that. So now I know I've been to Dominican Republic, but I know because you just left it, it's way better now. It's way better, my friend. Love that rule, by the way.
Me too.
Yeah, and the seeing through your reality, it's interesting what's there right now for you that you don't see. And I love this because I've noticed that times where I have a breakthrough, that there are tools that I've got that are like on my computer, or there's a book nearby that gives me exactly what I need, and it's been there. Sometimes it's been there for years. But now through the view of a different reality, I'm like, oh, maybe I should start using that, right? And it's one of the things I've been doing recently is, as things shift, I'm going through my resources and saying, what did I collect that I knew was important at the time that I just never implemented, that I never used? And I'm finding these things like, oh, this is really useful, and this is really useful, and starting to take advantage of it. And I noticed that for me, there was a time in my life where I couldn't get over $100,000. And I went through programs, I used coaches, and I couldn't break through that $100,000 mark. And then finally I worked with a coach, and we found out that I had this belief that if I make a lot more money, all these people are going to come and, hang out with me because I have money, ask me for money. And I didn't want to do that, but I didn't realize that was there consciously. And when we removed that, my income went to $200,000 in the next year, and it's gone up ever since. And I looked at it because there were programs I was in and tools I was using that were supposed to get me to $100,000 and $200,000 and $300,000. And I was saying, well, they just didn't work. But I wasn't making them work. And sometimes you really have to look at saying, where am I, purposely, unconsciously, whatever it is, not making this work? Because somehow it's keeping me safe.
I've got to say easily, very quickly, my rule of thumb, which is right off of what you said, I love what you said, is first of all, there's like twofold, right? First of all, God will never give you the money that you can't handle. That's just my opinion, take it or leave it, that he will only give us what we are prepared to handle, what we can take on. And it's based off of our diligence and off of our, prior history of how we behave and how we show up and how, what we do with our money. Do we squander it? Are we just all sloppy? Do we not care? Are we looking to make it for the right reasons? Like all these different factors. But on the other side of the token, on a more human level, non-spiritual level, there's always your income will never exceed your self-image. Because at the end of the day, if you don't believe that money belongs to you, that you can achieve that money, you're never going to show up in the way that you need to show up in order to get it. Right. And money doesn't grow on trees, as they say, right? You got to earn it unless you win the lottery. And if you win the lottery, I assure you, you won't keep it. So it's just one of those things where to get the money that you desire, I believe that anyone can achieve any level of income they choose, they put their mind to. But you have to show up in life the way you need to show up in life at the level of what will allow you to get that money. But most people aren't willing to do it. Most people are not willing to sacrifice. Most people are not disciplined enough. Most people are not willing to be consistent long enough. Most people are not willing to take the appropriate risks, right? And I can keep going. So it all comes back to, we're never going to behave out of alignment with how we see ourselves. That is typically the case. So what are you saying to yourself? What are you allowing others to pour into your life? What are you accepting from others that is completely not true? That's why I keep talking about the importance of protecting your circle. Like we've all, mentioned here at some point, is you got to be careful who's speaking into your life. And you got to be careful what you say to yourself, because who do you talk to, or who talks to you most of the time throughout the day? Yourself, your self-talk, your limiting beliefs, the automatic negative tapes that keep playing over and over and over. You got to replace that with the opposite, which is called affirmations, right? Affirmations, prayer, visualization. These are all things that can change somebody's world. But the reality is most people on the most foundational basic level don't do the basics.
I love that you brought up the self-talk, because we've been talking a lot about this idea of how other people see us and the expectations that they then place on us that we're trying to live up to. But I think that we can so easily overlook what we think of ourselves and that image that we have of ourselves. And a lot of times we get stuck in these images of ourselves based on what other people say, but also based on us and maybe past mistakes, past circumstances or situations that we don't like the outcome. And we let that define us, and we let that really then hold us back and trap us. And that's where we start putting these filters into place. That's what I talk about in my book, hashtag no filter. These filters that we then put in place to try to become who we think we're supposed to be, or who we want to see ourselves as, but we're doing it in a way that's fake. It's layering things that don't need to be there, that are coming from these negative opinions of ourselves, these failures that we can't forgive ourselves of, these past mistakes, that idea that we are more than the sum of our past mistakes, but yet we can't get past that. We trap ourselves based on that, and that negative talk just cycles through and ruminates over and over. And so, talk about recognizing our reality, being aware of our reality. What is my self talk doing to my reality? Is it what's putting me in the hole that I can't seem to get out of, that I can't move past to be able to achieve the things that I want to achieve? And how can I let go of that? How can I break that hold that it has on me and begin to truly change my own opinion of myself, to see I can do these things. I am capable. I do have this value. It's hard. It can be hard for people to step out of, but it has to be a daily choice. We have to be mindful of the thoughts that we're allowing to take residence in our mind and in our heart. And we have to choose daily to not ruminate on those negative, but to instead affirm and pull those affirmations from, our own self-talk, pull those affirmations from, on the spiritual level. What does God say about me? What is my creator give me as far as worth is concerned? Ruminate on those affirmations rather than those negative thoughts that want to just kind of run rampant. But it's a choice. We have to choose to be aware of them and then to do something about them.
I love how that was incredible, by the way. But while you were talking, it made me think of movies, because I also love thinking about the theater of your mind, right? The movies that you play in your own head. And then it also made me think about what happens after a movie that excites somebody. When Rocky came out, the first Rocky came out, everybody wanted to go boxing. I'm sure tons of people signed up for boxing classes and so forth, or they went to a boxing gym. When a movie comes out that inspires somebody at the moment, they're going to go do something. And I know in the martial arts world, we would always say, oh, there's a martial arts movie coming out. We have to go outside of the movie theater when people are excited and give them passes so they can come and use that excitement. But Jose also talked about consistency, because when we play the movie in our mind, the theater of our mind, and we are inspired, we have to consistently inspire ourselves on a daily basis so that we can achieve that goal. Maybe we want a six pack. Hey, maybe I can only get a four pack. So Maybe I want 19-inch arms, but I only got 17. Hey, at least you went for it. You have achieved something without comparing yourself to someone else. But we got to play that movie of our future. What do I want to be in 10 years, 5 years, next month? How do I accomplish what I need to do? I need to have a game plan so that my reality, because I'm playing this movie in my head, and I love calling it the theater of the mind, because in our mind, we have dreams, we have aspirations, but we need to also throw in a game plan, a diary, a journal. How am I going to accomplish this? What are the steps I need to take to fulfill that dream, that movie? Thank you for both of your thoughts and everybody's thoughts here. That helps us to start thinking ahead, to move forward.
One thing, just following what we're talking about, consistency and resilience. A lot of people don't realize that there's a physical addiction to your reality. So if your story is every time I try to build my business up, something happens to tear it back down. When it gets torn down, you get a hit of dopamine. You create a dopamine addiction to that moment when it gets torn down, because that's what you keep saying to people. That's what you've created your reality around. So when you decide to create a different reality, and my business is just going to go increasing, your body goes into physical withdrawal because it's not getting its dopamine hits. It sends signals to your brain saying, make this business fall down so I can get my fix. And so as you're changing your life, there's going to be moments for a lot of people where they start to fall back. And instead of saying, oh, I failed, you want to say, oh, I went into withdrawal. Let's get back on the wagon and continue. And when you continue to do this, it takes about 6 months on average to overcome an addiction, to where now my business just continues. But most people don't last 6 months worth of failures before they say, okay, we're going to get through this. They think I failed 4 months in a row. It's just not going to work. So it's so important to just stay the course of your dream so that your body now becomes addicted to that dream. So when things go wrong, your body's like, that's not what I'm used to. And it causes you to do things to self-correct and go in the right direction again.
Now that you said that, I love that you said to stay on the dream, the course of the dream, the path of the dream, because I always say to people, I don't know what mentor of mine told me this, and I've had many mentors, I've lost track, but one of them at some point told me, Jose, how do you keep your dream alive? I said, that's a good question. There's like 1,000 answers. And he said, you just hang around dreamers. So if you hang around people that have dreams, that have a vision, that have a mission, that have a purpose in life, that are bigger than themselves and are looking to be world changers, impact players, global titans, they're looking to do some phenomenal things in a world that is outside of just themselves, right? To create legacy and impact and change. That's how you keep your dream alive. You got to hang around those visionary type people. And that's why, again, it's all about who you're around and what you guys are talking about. What are the conversations that are being had? Are you talking big picture or are you playing small? Are you building these big visions or are you talking about, the latest show on Netflix that you're both watching every night? Like the conversations in the rooms make all the difference in terms of how inspired and motivated you stay and you are. And I believe way more in inspiration than I do, motivation. And at the end of the day, since we're talking about being authentic and we're talking about rewiring reality, remember that authenticity goes back to who you are and how you behave and how you show up when nobody's looking. So how are you as a human being when no one's looking? And how do you show up in the world around your family, in your church, with your peers, with your employees, with your teammates, with your friends, and all these other environments? How do you show up? Is it the same? Are you the same person? Or are you two completely different people? Right? I have to be the same Jose as in every single environment that I'm in. Right? And if something is not right for a particular environment, maybe I should check how I'm showing up. And make the constant course correction, right? CCC, constant course correction. Very, very important.
I love integrity. I love integrity. Do the right thing even if nobody's watching. Always. Because guess what? You may think nobody's watching, but you're wrong. You're watching. You're watching yourself do the wrong thing. So do the right thing.
Oh,
We
really
have come to that time. Go for it. Go for it.
quick. Since you just said that, you just said something powerful. Like, so many of us are so hard on ourselves too, right? Myself included, many of us. Like, sometimes we'll fall short. Guess what? We're human. It's okay. Things happen, right? Now, if you're falling short where you've crossed lines that you can't come back from, that's a problem. I think that's a whole another level of a problem. But falling short is part of life. It's called failing forward. And you got to course correct and say, okay, that shouldn't have happened. I need to improve this. We all make mistakes. We all fall short. It's part of the deal. But just be willing to fall down and don't stay down. You know, you're either standing or you're getting up, but you're never down. Very, very important to keep pressing forward and just know what is right and what is wrong and be the same all the time, not selectively.
Yeah, love it, love it. I think we can talk for quite a while here on the subject that we're talking about, but it has come to that time, Jose, Shiraz, and Jodi, that we are going to say goodbye to our audience. But before we do that, I would love to have somebody understand why you're here. You got 30, 45 seconds so they can go to your website, they can connect with you and go into a deeper level of who you are and what you can offer them. So Shiraz, I'd love for you to go ahead and tell us, your website is going across the bottom, and what can they expect when they go to your website?
So I'm a reality interventionist. My goal is to get you out of addiction to your current reality and addicted to a way better reality. And I work with entrepreneurs and at the high level, women coaches looking to get from 6 to 7 figures.
Love it. Thank you, my friend. Jodi, you're up.
I am an author, speaker, and counselor, and I work to equip women in growing in their spiritual walk, their spiritual lives. And so you can visit my website, jodihendricks.com, and you'll find resources in that spiritual growth. You'll find my book, #NoFilter, which is the first in a series of 3 Bible studies that will challenge your identity and your vision of yourself and of God. And so ultimately, just wanting to inspire women, speak at women's conferences, to help empower women in their own discovery of who God has created them to be.
Love it. Thank you so much. Jose, my friend, you're up.
Founder, CEO of Connected Leaders Academy. You check out my website, connectedleadersacademy.com. We're a growing community, a tribe of some of the highest level entrepreneurs around the world. Over 465 members, 46 states, 25 countries, growing every day. If you're an entrepreneur, business owner, you want to get on more stages as a speaker, more podcasts, you want to build your network, your circle, grow and learn as an entrepreneur, as we all are. Leads, referrals, collaborations, endorsements, more clients, more money, you name it. Check out the website, book a call with me. Let's connect.
Love it. Love it. And I'm Rafael, Sifu Rafael, as they call me. It's pretty easy. Go to sifurafael.com and let's connect. My goal is to empower people with their communication skills so that we can communicate at a higher level so that we can change the world with our communication skills. The way we talk to one another, we should bring love into that conversation, always. And thank you, everybody, for being here with us. It is Friday. It is a beautiful day. And like I said earlier before we started, every day should be Friday. Why is it that people don't like Mondays? I don't know, but every day to me is a Friday. It's a beautiful day. Everybody, God bless. Take care, everybody. You guys stick around for a minute. I got something to talk to you about. Don't go away, everybody. Share this show. So many great nuggets. Let's do it. Talk to you soon.